everybody, and welcome to another GameGuru MAX live broadcast number 76. And I hope you're all having a great Christmas break so far. But before I go any further, not one further step before I find out if anyone can hear me, or whether I'm just talking to myself during this Christmas break. So I'm going to check my live chat, which you can't see, but I can see. I'm looking for anyone just to say, yes, Lee, we can hear you. Then I can carry on and show you all the good stuff that I want to show you this week. So, is there anybody out there? Yes, okay, we've already got some thumbs up. You can hear me. Great, that's wonderful, perfect. Let's move on. I'm going to do that by running the software. And this week, what I want to show you is some more content. So, for the longest time, we've had basically 3 base character types when you use your character creator. You have the adult male, the adult female, and the zombie. But we always thought that was a little bit one-sided. So we thought it'd be a better idea if we added a second zombie category so you could have zombie females as well as zombie males. And that's exactly what we've done, and that's exactly what I'd like to show you today. But before that, I don't believe I've actually gone through the process of creating a brand new game project. I've just darted straight in and showed you something within the main software. So I thought I'd just spend a minute just to show you how this process now works with GameGuru MAX. This is after the welcome introduction animation. You'll get this. This is basically your welcome page where all of the games that we'll provide as demos and all your own games will appear for you to very quickly go into the project and carry on from where you left off. But if you want to create a brand new project, this is the general process. There's different ways of doing it, but this is just the straight through approach. So create a new game project button, which you click here, and then you'll give your game a name. So I'm going to say your game, could be any name you want. And we've made it pretty easy to get straight into creating your first level. So we've given you an indicator. Click here to create a new level, which you will then solemnly do, which then takes you to the terrain generator, of which you have 2 options. You can choose an empty level, which is just a blank sandbox, so you can create little experiments, etc. Or maybe you want to do an interior, an indoor style game. Or you can choose one of our biomes, so you can choose rainforest and all the rest of it. Once you've chosen the biome and you've made some settings, there'll be a button here called Generate Terrain for Level. When you click that, now you can actually give your level a name. So I'm going to just call this, I don't know, Sandy Land, and save level. So now your level has a name, and then boom, you're into your level. And now already at this point, you've created a game project, you've created a level, you've selected a biome, and now you're inside to do all the damage that you're going to do to create your wonderful game levels. I was going to show off, you know, creating a small level, etc. But I think if you watch enough broadcasts, you'll pick up generally how that works. And it's a pretty easy process. But just to get you to this point, that's basically the shortest distance from starting the software for the first time to getting in and creating a level and being here. And the reason I want to be here is I want to run the character creator. So you go to Add, you'll find a button here, Character Creator, and that takes you to our character creator, which, as I've said before, for the longest time, you can create male and female soldiers and some creepy zombies. But now you find there's a 4th category, zombie female. And we have provided a lot of different heads, bodies, legs, etc. for you to play around with. So I'm just zooming a little bit closer so we can look at the different faces. None of these will be pretty. And we've got a really messed up mummified one. We've got another one with festering sores, a ghoulish one with the eyes basically almost blackened out, and then a creepy glowy-eyed one, and then basically almost an incinerated zombie. So you can choose your... I quite like that one, it's very rotty. And we've got some hairstyles. So there's basically this jangly long one, and then you have the shorter one, or you could have no hairstyle at all. I'll probably just stick with the black. There's no real facial hair at the moment. We've not thought of any ideas what could be on a female zombie face. So we got different hats. So this could be a nurse that's been converted. And a different hat. You've got some headscarves. I think you call them headscarves. You've got different kinds of those. You've got some nice pudding hats. I'm pretty sure they're not called pudding hats. But you get these kind of hats. And then you got the nice little flat cap thing going on, so you can choose a headdress, some glasses, so they're all little of a slightly hanging off the face. That one's a crooked set of glasses and crooked in the opposite direction. I quite like these red ones. Then we go for the body. So this is the first one. We can have the different colours of that style, but then we can change the wardrobe, so it's more of a shirt with collar. It's different colours of that. And then we go into the hoodie, what I call a hoodie. Different ones of this. I quite like. Yeah, that looks all right. And I think we got one which is, yeah, with stain, so we'll have that one. And there we got the legs. So we've got skirts and we've got leggings. So you've got the sort of checker pattern effect in some different colours. That's just general cloth, some denims, and of course some regular pants. So I think actually I quite like those, so we'll keep this. And then finally we got shoes. So you can have no shoes at all. You can have some grey ones, white ones, red ones and white ones. I quite like these. These kind of match the overall thing. You can use the mouse to zoom out. Not sure about the hat anymore. I think we'll go for that. That looks a little bit better. And of course, as if you've used Character Creator before, you can give your zombie a name. So Mrs. Trouble. So, and then you save character. Then that takes you to the object preview where you can pose your character, give it a nice backdrop. Maybe we'd get something a little bit more dramatic. Maybe that other red one. Yeah. Okay, that'll do. I'm sure there's better ways I can pose that, but add that to the library. And now we've got Mrs. Trouble, who we can then add into our level. And there you go. So obviously I'll let you play around with this on Friday. Anyone who's looking to be a pre-order user can check out these new character creation options. If you tuned in last Wednesday, you would have seen the additional bonus that we've given to all of pre-order users. So you get the sort of the armor for the male and the female combat soldiers, which I think look really good. Stick them in a dark room, ramp up emissive, look really, really nice. And there's going to be more work on not necessarily adding lots and lots of new character parts, but things around it, such as behaviours, animations, how they die, different things like that. So keep an eye out for that in future builds. But for this Friday, you'll be able to have a new 4th category in the Character Creator, so have some fun with that. And obviously there's other little bits and pieces going on in the background, so check out the changelog at the end of the week. So now I'm going to look over to the question bank. I have done it again, 11 minutes in, as I transition to the Q&A. I forgot to mention that if you did want to ask me a question and you're in the live chat, please do so. Just pop a question mark at the end so I can find them quickly. But as I didn't ask for that, I'm going to read through the chat a little slower, just so I don't miss any questions or something that would be fair. So this is our inaugural Christmas Q&A, GameGuru MAX. And let's see if there's any worthy questions for me. We'll try and keep this broadcast to 15 minutes, so we'll have maybe 4 minutes for questions. So let's see if anyone's got any questions. Can somebody hide the Guinness? Too late! I also had a great Christmas, so thank you very much. The Guinness was nice. Okay, too soon. Great question. If it was in context, I'd be able to answer it. Okay, everyone can absolutely hear me. Our questions seem to be a bit further down, which they are. This is a question from Zerath Ash. Is it possible to make a series of a dialogue similar to The Thing, forgot its name, that allows you to edit things like the level menu and other things? Like that, but for dialogue. I think I kind of know what you mean. We do actually have a system to create screens, and you can edit those screens and the graphics and the text that used in them. But I think what you're leading to is some sort of dialogue or conversation editor. We will not have that for this release of GameGuru MAX. We're going to focus on shooters, AI, and the logic surrounding that. When we come to do the RPG, that's very heavy on the story base, the narrative. And including in that is a big conversation tree system. So you can drop in a character, you can create a character with the Character Creator, but then you can give it a whole set of dialogues that you go to a character, they say their thing, they might be able to trade with you, and obviously you can have them go through a whole sort of personal story of why they're there and what mission they want to send you on, etc. Don't want to talk too much detail on that, because of course that is the RPG element, and that'll come later on 2022. For now, we're just going to focus on the shooter and get that one right. This is a question from you12b gamer. Question mark, question mark. Is the behavior editor working? Yes, but it is a little bit hidden. So now you'll have to go into settings, then developer mode. Then you'll actually see a tick box which switches on the AI editing stuff, and then you'll find it in the usual place. So go hunt out for the tick box first, and then you'll find the behavior editor right where we left it. Here's a question from Super Confident Man. How did you get that picture of my mother? No comment. I get a lot of trouble answering that question. Another question from Zirath in regards to the zombie model on... Sorry, who on the team actually does them? I honestly love the way they look, unless it's not a team member. It is one of our most excellent freelance artists that many of you know, called Bond1 in the forums, and he has been with our tiny community for a very long time, and he continues to improve. This guy is now off the charts in terms of the quality that's coming out of that stable, and we look forward to seeing many, many more things in 2022, so look forward to that. I certainly am. Here's a question from Danny De Beer. Any possibility for non-zombie fighting violent characters, i.e. normal people or cartoons? There are some of the male and female characters that you can just not give them a weapon and look generally normal, for things like characters you just want to walk down the street or things like that. But not an inexhaustible supply. We don't have a huge set of civilians because we kind of want to start you off with combatants, people who really ought to be in that battlefield in the first place. So we're kind of focused on that with a limited resource on creating characters, because it does take a very long time to create a modern game character. So we're focused on the things that make sense in a shooter sort of genre. Okay, looking at another question. This is from Ciro Atanasio. Is there still light mapping function and no performance without it? There is no light mapping in GameGuru MAX. We've done all of this so far, and certainly checked back on previous broadcasts. All of it is real time. So we are basically doing all the different effects that we've shown over the many, many weeks, all in real time. So the lights that you place down and the shadows that are cast are all done in real time, which gives you lots of flexibility. There is some light mapping cleverness in the Wicked engine, which is the graphics engine that we use, but we haven't explored it in any great detail. So right now it's all real time. If down the road there's a very strong reason why we should introduce light mapping, probably based on performance and low-end systems, then we'll look at it. But right now the plan is in March to release a real-time renderer for all the lights and shadows and things like that. So, do we get another question? Yes, we do, but it's scrolling off my screen. Lee, what video games are you playing at the moment? None. I'm playing none. I got back from my little break, and I've drove back to Wales. And yeah, then I'm back on the keyboard and I'm working. So yeah, I suppose I'm playing my own game. I'm playing a game I'm literally creating as I go. So maybe that counts, because it is technically a game, isn't it? This is a question from Tom. How do we get the randomly added animals into the biomes? You can't yet. We haven't quite decided the best way to seed or populate the animals into clever places within each of the biomes. So we're still thinking on that. Not a huge job once we've decided. We just need to figure out what's the best scattering pattern that we put them in. And before that, we kind of want to finish up all of the different animal sections, the fish, the birds, the mammals, see what their behaviors are like on individual or small groups. Then that'll inform us like what density of animals we might need to populate the entire terrain with. So watch this space for that decision, and you'll probably find it as a ticky box in the terrain generator once we activate that feature. So looking at the clock, I have blasted past the 15-minute mark, so I always do that. So as always, again, I will find 2 questions that from people who haven't asked a question before, and the rest of them I absolutely will answer them, but they will be in the GameGuru forums along with a recording of this broadcast. So do we get a question from someone who hasn't asked a question yet? Looks like we have one from Zorgo33. You've not asked one yet. Here it is. Will AI characters be able to open doors, for example, when chasing the player to shoot him? That functionality is not in at the moment, and it's not part of any short, super urgent priority A list that we have. It is on our list, but it's not a priority A one. The idea being that if the character is chasing you, it's the player that opens the door and dashes through, who actually spends the time to turn around and close the door, so the enemy just runs through the open door. But yeah, it's certainly something that you will be expecting to see in an iteration of GameGuru MAX. It may not be the March one, but if we do all of our AI work well, then yeah, I'll be looking to add that in. Again, it's not super difficult, but then how much fidelity do you want? You want the character to actually reach out and grab the handle of the door and twist it and push it open, etc. Or do you just want it so the just door automatically opens, much like it does for the player in first-person perspective? So we'll see. We'll see about that one. And the second question that I will ask, looking for a question mark. Yep, this is a question from Excavation or Gamer. Will it be difficult to import assets? I mean, the ones I created. Not at all. We actually have a full model importer that supports FBX, GLTF, and OBJ, and the ancient X format, which we're not expecting you to use. So you can use something like Blender, which is a free 3D modeling tool, export it in one of those mentioned formats, add some textures, and then bring it into GameGuru MAX. Then the importer will automatically infuse it with the attributes it needs to be game ready, and then you just drop it into your level and away you go. So we're actually intending large quantity of assets that you'll see in GameGuru MAX games will actually come from the outside and be imported through our model importer. So that's it for time. Don't really want to bore you. I want to let you get back to your Christmas break and me back to my keyboard. As always, I'll be back next Wednesday at 4 p.m. GMT to show you more of our internal developments of GameGuru MAX. So I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly enjoyed presenting it to you. So let's all get back to our Christmas break, and I'll speak to you next week. So goodbye.